So much drama.
Making my daughter cry, so shut it.
Talk about what?
Yeah, how many times has my daughter beat your daughter this year?
Her content began to showcase her dating life, and while that would include the typical coupley content, in JoJo's case, it also became pretty focused on breakups.
I want you to listen for
Damn.
this.
Who would make content about such a cringe topic?
I watched the YouTube video of my ex, and now
I was a bad girl. You think she's ever taken like a perk 30 and like cussed somebody out?
Jojo Siwa does not do perks, and she doesn't cuss and say swear. Well, she probably does do that now. Apparently, you're not allowed to paint your face without being on Reddit.
Now, there is a lot to say about JoJo constantly putting her foot in her mouth and being blinded by arrogance.
I said I wanted to start a new genre of music, and they said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, it's called gay pop." I am the first in the generation. It is very scary, but someone's got to do it. You are still the truth.
19 hours ago. This didn't age well. Hi YouTube, Jojo Siwa and the anatomy of a parentheses failed rebrand, parentheses around the failed part. Jimmy Robbins has a bone to pick with Jojo. Who even is Jojo Siwa? I know she's famous. I think she was on Nickelodeon and maybe like Dancing with the Stars and such. I'm gonna look it up real quick, fact check. This was her as a kid and this is what she looks like more recently, and the black metal, I don't know what that's about, but I'm sure Reddit hates it. American singer, dancer, actress, Jesus. Appeared as a dancer in 2 seasons of Dance Moms, my apologies. Not Dancing with the Other People. In 2017 was signed to Nickelodeon and acted in various shows and films, which they don't want to tell me, but that's fine. And now she's doing like sort of what Miley Cyrus did, I guess, like in the mid 2010s, like got a little more edgy and rebranded. Let's freaking see what this
Jojo
video
Siwa
is
set
about.
out for a rebrand that would transition her career from oversized hair bows to being a generation's counterculture beacon of cool. But because of a couple of key
Oh, is she
missteps,
like doing some David Bowie type artsy shit?
both past and present, she is now one of the most universally mocked people online.
A little bit, but that's good. That guy's good.
That's on my podcast? Oh my gosh.
I was a bad girl. You think she's ever taken like a perk 30 and like cussed somebody out?
No, I don't think so. She wouldn't do that. Jojo Siwa does not do perks, and she doesn't cuss and say swear. Well, she probably does do that now, and I'm willing to accept that.
Which leads one to wonder, what brought JoJo to this point? How could this have been avoided? And does JoJo possibly deserve this treatment? Now, JoJo got her start on the reality show Dance Moms, a program that aimed to showcase the people brave enough to ask, what if we treat children like professional dancers instead of, you know, children? Which is always a great idea and demonstrates why putting kids in show business just makes sense.
Fix this hair, cause it's horrible.
It's not my fault. Your kid is not as good as my kid.
I hate reality TV, dude. So much drama.
Making my daughter cry, so shut it.
Talk about what?
Yeah, how many times has my daughter beat your daughter this year?
You're just jealous that Brenna's had a better season
I
than
just
him.
couldn't watch stuff like this on the TV and then have a family with like 3 sisters as well and my mom who were like going back and forth. It's just too much yelling, dude. It's
Despite
too
being roughly
real.
11, and her brand was just as upbeat as her, with her signature look being comically large hair bows that you can find at Walmart with her face front and center. And while she went on to work with Nickelodeon, the most interesting parts of her career since can be found in her time online. See, JoJo has become a pretty prominent influencer, amassing huge followings on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And while her Dance Moms fame was largely focused on what she could do, these platforms showcased much more of who JoJo is. For example, her—
Did I play the Jojo Siwa iPhone game? If there was one, roll the clip if so. I may just have made it up. I'm delusional.
relationships. Once JoJo
And
came
here
out
we
as a
are.
lesbian, her content began to showcase her dating life. And while that would include the typical coupley content, in JoJo's case, it also became pretty focused on breakups.
I want you to listen for
Damn.
this.
Who would make content about such a cringe topic?
We broke up, and it's okay.
Not I.
Special ad-lib. Because it is about one of my exes.
I watched a YouTube video of my ex, and now I'm just sad, and so I'm just sitting
Now
in
I'm
the car.
fucked up
Who's
in the
your
crib, in the
favorite?
car, getting tipsy.
LOL. What a question. I bet you want to know who my favorite of my exes is.
Because once she turned 18, JoJo entered the typical phase of wanting to convince everyone that she was, in fact, an adult now. But much like other child stars, JoJo was doing this in front of a global audience.
I just saw a video of Jojo Siwa on a podcast.
I mean, you better get used to it. That's what every kid does now, right? Like, this has to be at least a couple days old. Yeah, 19 hours ago. Kids They're used to it, dude. This is old news, but let's continue.
And this was the start of JoJo trying to redefine her image and be taken more seriously by the world. Yes, instead of rainbow hair ties, she wants to be the forbidden love child of Darth Maul and Yoda.
Oh, I mean, I see what you mean.
Dream guest on my podcast?
But jokes aside, a good
For some reason, anybody who wears face makeup like this gets just blasted on Reddit by like black metal heads or whatever they're called, and I don't even want to. Apparently, you're not allowed to paint your face without being on Reddit. I've seen Trisha Paytas and the gang.
But jokes aside, a good rebrand does wonders for one's pockets. I mean, there are a ton of A-listers who owe their status to exactly that. So it makes a lot of sense that when JoJo relaunched her music career with the song Karma, she saw her opportunity to follow in those footsteps. But to say that JoJo made some miscalculations along the way,
interesting hat.
would be an incredible understatement. Because a miscalculation doesn't usually launch the career of someone who left the industry a decade ago while making you a TikTok laughingstock. And what's so interesting about this is that it's really only something that could have happened to Jojo Siwa, or at least someone who manages to have both JoJo's past, but also her ego. Which sounds harsh, but hear me out. Now, there is a lot to say about JoJo constantly putting her foot in her mouth and being blinded by arrogance.
I said, I want to start a new genre of music. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's called gay pop. I am the first in the generation. It is very scary, but someone's got to do it.
But first, it's important to know why
Jojo Siwa actually invented being gay.
So many people were ready to jump
if
at the
this is
opportunity
news to
to
you,
make fun of her. You
it's
see,
not
every
to
brand
me.
is best for taking people who like or are neutral towards you and making them love you. The problem is, JoJo is starting at being largely disliked, which makes any kind of rebrand much more difficult. But
what is she wearing?
Someone known for colorful hair bows do to piss off so many people? Well, despite how young she is, JoJo's already been involved in quite a few controversies. Though if controversial is what she's going for, then why is that such a problem? Well, during a controversial rebrand, the celebrity in question will usually be polarizing in one key area while remaining fairly squeaky clean otherwise. A common way to do this is by being more sex positive, which generally turns off the older crowd that the celebrity wasn't trying to win over in the first place. Younger demographic tends to love sex positivity, so they end up aligning with the celebrity's values while seeing them as an inspiring figure that's overcoming adversity. I mean, nothing makes you want to do something more than your parents telling you not to, right? But JoJo's controversies are different in that they're pretty widespread, meaning it's more likely that something about JoJo is going to be a huge turnoff for you, or that you'll look at her behavior and end up concluding that she's just a bad person, and let's face it, she's not someone like Kanye who has enough talent to make that sort of thing work.
Is she really a bad person? Well, alright, I guess let's see if she hits this high note, otherwise I don't see how she's really that bad of a person. Kinda cringe, maybe. You ain't beating the cringe allegations.
What exactly are these controversies?
That's for sure.
Well, remember how Jojo Siwa got her start on Dance Moms? A show where adults justified putting kids in abusive environments by saying it would make them successful? Well, Jojo herself actually stood up to this treatment various times while on the show.
She deserves nothing.
Nothing?
No crying children. None.
Well, if you yell at me, I'm gonna cry.
Get out. Is that
Fair
really
enough.
a question?
You want to see a costume?
So now that she's an adult, you would probably expect JoJo to use her influence to promote a gentler approach to dance, especially with kids, right? But instead, it looks like she repeated the cycle verbatim, which started with JoJo launching her own reality show that had young girls compete for a spot in the pop group XOMG Pop, which JoJo would co-manage. And for the
I thought it was OMG Pop, like the game developer of... What game did they even make? Oh, Draw Something? The original Draw Something before Zynga bought it? Sorry, I have brain rot.
For the most part, JoJo was a likable enough teacher during the show's filming.
I saw this video of you freestyling on your social media. Do you know what video I'm talking about?
No.
But if you do that, you can hang with these kids. I know you can.
But even then, you have to question JoJo choosing to recreate that environment. Because even if we generously assume that JoJo isn't going to be as bad as her mentors, she knows that kids will still be treated horribly by their parents because that's just what happens when you put kids in show business. But that generous assumption doesn't even seem to be true, as Rolling Stone reported that multiple members and associates of the group have accused JoJo of fostering an abusive environment, with JoJo allegedly screaming insults during rehearsals as well as pitting the girls against one another, while JoJo's mother was accused of calling the girls names, being ableist, and even risking the physical well-being of the dancers, with one alleging that they were encouraged to dance while still recovering from spinal surgery. Even worse, they started bleeding from their belly button during a rehearsal and were allegedly told to cover it with a maxi pad and continue dancing.
That's horrific, dude.
rather than address the injury. And this hasn't even resulted in a successful product, as 4 of the original band members have already left the group without explanation, and the band itself hasn't really experienced any lasting success.
You're named after a dead game studio, bro.
Of course, the Siwas have come out and denied these claims. However, Jojo has separately defended and dismissed how she was treated as a child pursuing dance.
This is gonna be a little controversial to say, I think, but to me, Abby was always right. She wasn't just yelling at me because she wanted to yell at me. I actually was a mess and was a beat off. One thing that I've learned, like really working insane in Hollywood, is that that's normal. And it's like, it's scary that that's normal, but that taught me how to survive in the industry. Even just growing up in the dance world, a dance teacher is like, that's normal.
Especially when you consider how the other girls from the show talk about that experience.
I think she was willing to do whatever it took to make sure she got the outcome she wanted.
She just couldn't stand to see you happy.
No. Yeah, I thought it wasn't enough, like in every single way. And it wasn't until about a year ago that I realized the way I felt about myself were her words still lingering with me. Like 10 years later, she doesn't define me anymore. She doesn't get that power over me.
What message would you like to send Abby Lee, if any?
I have a life of peace now, and I have a successful career now, and it's in spite of her, not because of hers.
And sometimes we were dancing on concrete, which is so bad, and I have permanent cankles from.
What is this, me? Is this for serious? I can't even tell with that music. The dun dun.
From that. Thank you, Abby Lee Miller.
I feel like it's in spite of her, not because of hers.
And sometimes we were dancing on concrete, which is
the
so
floor.
Bad.
We were dancing on the floor.
And I have permanent cankles.
Not your best point.
From that. Thank you. Abby
What's a
Lee Miller.
cankle? I
feel like the girls and Abby were downplaying the injuries.
I took the stress out all on this side of my head, which is why I have no hair right here. It's why my hair is super thin on this side. I used to get this stress rash right here, and I just pick it all day.
Okay, well, don't do that.
And
just don't do that.
Literally, I don't have hair right there. It's really bad.
See, the timing of this report could not have been worse, as it released in February of 2024, which is significant because 2024 has seen a sharp increase in public scrutiny towards the treatment of children in show business. So it makes sense that this would turn a lot of people.
I'm sure they might have already said this. 20 now? Okay. Are we talking about now? I suppose we are.
And that's not even her only controversy involving children. See, Jojo has also maintained a very public friendship with disgraced YouTuber Colleen Ballinger, who spent 2023 dealing with
Grab the ukulele. This is all about the Miranda Singh stuff right now. So this is just controversy about her being friends with Miranda Singh.
Gave me that same feeling.
And this all climaxed with easily the most infamous apology video in internet history, which is really saying something.
The only thing I've ever groomed is my 2 Persian cats.
Oh man, stop it.
Stop it. You would expect Jojo to probably distance herself from Colleen, at least publicly, right? Especially when you consider how Colleen made a mockery of some pretty serious claims with her song. But instead, Jojo was quick to come to Colleen's
Was it intentional? Or was it sort of a... I don't know. I don't even remember, dude.
Defense, saying that the internet was upset over nothing.
The internet can take a lie and run so far with it, so far, to the point where you just can't do anything about it. I think the problem is the internet was able to capitalize off of her cancellation, and they still are, and they still are continuing to, and it's not okay because a lot of it is based off of lies.
Which, as you'll see, is pretty par for the course from Jojo, who sees the internet as an insincere collective of haters who couldn't possibly be providing constructive feedback. And this friendship is ongoing, as Colleen was invited to Karma's release party. And since Colleen's misconduct is documented better than what you'd find in the Discovery Channel, anyone aware of that situation now has a reason to not like Jojo Siwa. And it doesn't help that Jojo arguably managed to downplay and enable the exploitation and abuse of children again. It's not a good look. And that's not JoJo's only controversial friendship. There's also James Charles, who also has a not so great history with contacting minors as well.
2 different people, both under the age of 18, have recently come forward saying that they had inappropriate messages to me on social media. As an adult, it is my job and my responsibility to verify who I'm talking to, and therefore there's no one to blame for this other than myself.
So you now have 3 separate instances of JoJo either being accused of abusing kids or maintaining a close friendship with someone facing similar accusations that have been proven to be true. There's also JoJo's public feud with her ex-girlfriend Avery Cyrus. Now look, I don't think any of us are overly interested in JoJo's dating life, so I'll keep it simple. Both sides of this conflict have made some dislike JoJo, with some finding JoJo's actions to be performative and desperate.
Why are you mad? Why are you mad?
Because I got used
For what?
For views. And for clout. And I got tricked into being told that I was loved.
Why is she smiling? This is so awkward, dude.
And I got played.
While Avery has released videos telling stories of past relationship perils, some of which are strongly believed to be about JoJo.
My girlfriend at the time was like, I think I should text my ex and let her know that there's no bad blood between us. Turns out she sent more messages, something along the lines of, oh, I still have the thing you gave me when we first met. 3 days later, she dropped me off at the airport to go home, and as soon as I walked through my front door, she sends me a voice memo breaking up with me.
What are you doing?
Through voice memo.
This is like one of those Drake and Josh fucking skits where they're like just doing something idle with their hands, like taping a watermelon or something that makes no sense. Are you taping an egg?
Oh.
So this kind of messy public behavior has turned off a whole other group of people. So yeah, JoJo's rebrand was destined to be an uphill battle. Due to her past, many people are now quick to highlight every mistake she makes during this journey, and there have been quite a few. See, despite her experiences in media, JoJo isn't the best when it comes to optics, which is made very clear when you pay attention at how she's acted throughout the release of her song. Now, this started mildly with people making fun of JoJo's choreography for Karma, because yeah, it was bad.
Damn. She hitting that thing.
But even something as small as this led to a more tangible reason for some to dislike JoJo. See, other dancers started posting videos of them doing JoJo's dance, and for many, these videos demonstrated that the problem with JoJo's videos wasn't in the choreography itself, but instead with JoJo's dancing. Like, she was going out of her way to look like she was dancing harder than anyone else could. But as someone who can't even dance
what I was doing, in fairness.
I know that can
5, 6, it's not a mess clap, it's a 1 strong.
From an artistic perspective, turned into people finding her personally obnoxious. And look, it sucks to be the internet's punching bag, but that's what JoJo quickly became, and she needed to pick the right response. Because a good response can be make or break when the internet is ganging up on you. I mean, just take Jake Novak, who disappeared for a year, released a pretty well-received meta sketch, and went back into silence. His comments have done a complete 180. Alternatively, you could take it very personally, lash out, and make it all tremendously worse, aka the Colleen. You should never go with the Colleen.
Hey everybody, I found someone new to correct the things that I do not like to do.
Oh god.
So of course that's exactly what JoJo did.
Like it or not, what's
I
been in
hate
your
it.
head the last 3 days?
You see, the more I listen to JoJo speak, and the more I learn about her in general, the more I feel that she has a massive ego. I mean, you can even see it during her Dance Bomb days, where her instructor, Abby Lee Miller, would note that JoJo was terrible in any setting where she couldn't be the center of attention.
Some kids just aren't good group dancers. They want to be stars. They want to be soloists. To be a successful working dancer, you need to dance with everybody. JoJo can't do that. Abby was always right.
And honestly,
I cannot tell what good or bad dancing is. What's the difference?
Hard to see where this ego comes from when you hear how JoJo's mother talks about her.
My daughter JoJo is the most famous teenager on the planet.
Fun fact, I'm petty. So I asked Gemini, ChatGPT, and Meta AI to name the 5 most famous teenagers in the world when that came out. And not only did none of them mention JoJo, but ChatGPT actually cheated rather than include her. So do with that what you will. But in trying to promote Karma, JoJo set out on somewhat of a media tour, getting in front of any camera that would have her and trying to cause controversy, because no better.
What is this fucking hat with hair on it? This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Is this your merch? Who made this?
Publicity and all that.
So for somebody to open your comments
It's obstructing your vision. I know you can't see.
They're enjoying it. It's fun for them.
And at first, this started with JoJo directly labeling the song as a rebrand and talking it up quite a bit.
No one has made this dramatic of a change yet.
Never.
No one has made, in my generation,
First
this
one to ever do it.
extreme of a switch.
Just like Soulja Boy. I mean,
I am
not
the first
like
of the
him.
generation.
First one.
It is very scary, but someone's got to do it. People are not going to like it. People are going to be mad at me.
They're
for
pissed.
Sure.
I'm mad.
Made me feel like I'm a f***ing psychopath. I realized something. I am a f***ing psychopath. And
Perfect.
This is some
What's the fucking problem? She's self-aware. We're going. Video over.
I can do.
There's never really been an influencer child star
Never.
turned into musician.
I
adult
invented
star.
being a human girl.
You know what I mean? There's never really been.
I
this
started
big. Now, we're
Nickelodeon.
as big as we
I'm
possibly
the
can,
first
and then,
rapper to be
you know,
Soulja Boy.
Somehow we'll go bigger, but we don't know how, but we'll figure it out
Listen,
eventually.
she's delusional, but we understand why, because of the first part of the video. It's all good, as long as she just, you know, maybe she's not a great teacher. Maybe just do the other stuff where you're not in charge of kids. Or just shape up.
Because no one is quicker to compliment Jojo Siwa than, well, Jojo Siwa.
This song, maybe me as a
Because she's a gangster.
Is people's guilty
And a real
pleasure.
G always talks himself up.
Created $1 billion empire.
My videos have over 3.5 billion views, which is
More than you, motherfucker. Exactly. That she knows.
it's amazing, honestly, considering that I never ever promote my YouTube channel.
Look where I am now.
I am giving the world art. And I am setting the record for the youngest guest host ever. Man, I like setting records. It's fun.
We know what works, we know what doesn't. We know what to do. We know how to get there. We know what it takes. We know the difference in a kid that has it and a kid that just doesn't.
I am so happy, so proud, so excited to bring this version of pop music back.
She sounds like DJ Khaled with this level of, you smart, you me, I'm loyal, I'm weird.
I
think too much about this stuff, this kind of stuff.
You know, it's in my back pocket. It's something that I can bust out.
I can bust it out.
Thinking,
You want me to
since I have
bust it
a lot
out?
of influence
She
over
wants me to
kids.
bust
And in
it out.
general, JoJo tends to overestimate how media savvy she is.
There's something missing
Was the Jackson 5 even that banging?
in
Come
the
on.
world of music, and that is kids pop original music. There's been no explosive kids group since the Jackson 5.
I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure
Have you
these
heard
kids
of
become
Kids Bop? Checkmate, atheists.
stars.
Despite being anything but. Also, in launching that group, JoJo decided to just give them her personal YouTube channel. Which, yeah, someone not familiar with YouTube might think that's a no-brainer because, wow, the band now has a YouTube channel with over 10 million subscribers. That's more than nearly any other group. But any YouTube analyst will tell you that one subscriber number is a much less powerful metric than it was a decade ago. In fact, that kind of move is one of the quickest ways to wind up with a dead channel, as you're suddenly bombarding your audience
Yeah, why
with
the
content
fuck would
they
you
didn't
do that?
subscribe for, thus they won't click on it.
I would not have recommended. You could even just keep it as yours and post the same videos.
And will instead unsubscribe
And
from
that
the
would have been
channel,
better.
which teaches the algorithm that the new content from this channel isn't getting clicks, so it shouldn't be promoted. And for proof of what I'm saying, just look at the channel. When the content was centered around JoJo, the videos were consistently hitting 1 million views. But in the last 2.5 years since handing the channel over, only one video has cracked that number, and the channel now struggles to reach even 1/10 of that. And to me, it says a lot that this kind of mistake is usually made by corporations unfamiliar with YouTube, like Discovery trying to jack the SourceFed channels only to
Oh
be
my
forced to abandon
God.
the idea, and
That's
yet we're
true.
seeing the same exact mistake be made by a self-proclaimed generational media expert.
There's the two lanes of celebrities, right? There's mainstream celebrity and then there's influencer celebrity. I'm somewhere in the middle. I've had both. You know what I mean? And I'm really the only person in my generation that has grown up with the like 50-50 mix of both.
And her understanding of social media is even worse. So as people continue turning against her, JoJo tried and failed to steer into the controversy. You see, as these interviews went on, JoJo attempted to adopt the kind of likably arrogant persona that someone like Robert Downey Jr., Kanye, or Cardi B are famous for.
I was thinking Rick Ross, but yeah, go on.
Look at you.
Maybe Gucci Mane.
RDJ, right?
It's very good. You really are taking cues from the master now.
How many records can my records break?
More records.
I'm the man, I'm the man.
And I want to thank my haters too because
Oh no.
Is I just named 3 titans in their industries, yet JoJo is just starting out and is saying stuff like this.
Like it or not, what's been in your head the last 3 days?
I've been thinking about my own death quite a bit.
Like it or not, you're gonna look.
And while she's going for confident, it just ends up coming off as laughable.
One of those statements was a lot more in line with reality, I think.
Not to mention disrespectful towards other artists.
I don't care that music videos aren't trending anymore like this.
I'm gonna do
They weren't trending either before Lady Gaga did them, and then all of a sudden.
Let's see if there's any music videos trending today. You know, oh look, Drake made a video today. Oh, Kendrick Lamar made a video today. Huh, oh, reacting to Drake and Kendrick Lamar is on trending a bunch of times. Yeah, there's plenty of music videos on trending.
And booyah, Lady Gaga becomes Lady Gaga.
And this led to JoJo's worst slip of the tongue yet.
What would you call the genre?
The genre is, I said it back in the day when I first signed with Columbia, I said I wanted to start a new genre of music. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's called gay pop. And they were like, what's that? And I was like, it's like K-pop, right? But it's gay pop.
You see, JoJo has been consistently trying to gain the support of the queer community. Yet with just that comment, she managed to do the opposite as, again, what she said came across as incredibly disrespectful.
Part of being young and queer and coming out and joining this community, entering into this space, is learning your history and knowing just how much work it has taken to get us where we are today.
You were this close to not violently disrespecting all of your queer elders, and you just flew over the mark.
I was defending Jojo Siwa and I felt really bad about how many people were making fun of her until she said that she is going to invent gay pop.
He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides. I can hardly breathe when he's pumping.
I love gay pop. She didn't invent this.
You're not inventing a genre, homie. You are making a playlist, and the playlist already exists.
And it's of your own songs,
And when you
which is a
consider that
horrible
JoJo is one of
playlist.
the most famous examples of an openly gay celebrity heavily representing their sexuality in their art, it's almost impossible to explain how devastating this really was for her. And while I'm not part of the LGBTQ+ community, even I think that it should have been incredibly obvious to JoJo why that line would be tasteless. Like, while there are still dangers and risks, there has never been a safer time for a rich white musician in America to incorporate their sexuality into their art. And
that's true.
Happened
She
because
did
of
sound
decades of musicians
like she was
paving the way
delusional,
during times where
but
that
she
could have
kind of
cost them
always
their
does. That's her thing at this point.
Lives or careers. Yet JoJo is so quick to take credit after just releasing a song. And in response to the controversy, JoJo just kind of doubled down and tried to tell millions of people that they're purposely misrepresenting her.
I gotta ask you with the gay pop.
Yes.
A lot of people have come for you. Do you retract what you said? Have
Why
you
did people come for you for that? Literally, what did I do? Here's the thing. I'd be like, I support world peace. And the world would be like, you asshole. No matter what, I know the world's gonna twist it, turn it, make it anything. So I think I just want to make it more clear that gay pop is a genre. If I said to somebody, name a gay pop artist, they'd go, what's gay pop? You know what I mean?
I think they'd say Lady Gaga. I think they'd say Chappell Roan. They'd say Freddie Mercury, Elton John.
Okay, that's valid because I would too. I definitely am not the inventor of gay pop, for sure not. But I do want to be a piece in making it bigger than it already is. I'm not the creator, but I'm not the president, but I might be like the CEO or the CMO.
Okay.
I could be the CMO, the chief marketing officer.
And here's the thing, JoJo does this a lot, where she responds to criticism by trying to pass off a completely different statement as what she was actually saying, or by misrepresenting the criticism she or a friend are receiving to try and reshape the narrative. Like, I don't think anyone would have minded her saying that she was humbly entering the space with a large platform and wanted to use that to ensure that gay artists can receive greater recognition.
I just don't think she's taking it that seriously. She doesn't seem like she really cares that much. Like, it's just people online are tripping about genres. I'm just popping my shit, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Make it go away type response, which, you know, that's fine.
Just
She's keeping it gangsta.
Chart, but that's not what she said. I would also argue that her attitude towards doing music in general comes across as being really disrespectful towards other artists. Like, I'm no musician unless...
Yeah, but like, fucking people do that all the time and say like, fuck Tupac, listen to my mixtape.
You count High School Marching Band, but I feel like it's abundantly clear that JoJo is not taking this craft seriously. If you're gonna break those rules, you better be damn good at what you're doing. I mean, say what you will about the whole YouTuber book trend, but at least those creators had the common sense to not call themselves once-in-a-generation writers when they were just trying to cash a check. But to be clear, it's not JoJo wanting fame and money that I'm talking about here. I mean, just look at Mr. Beast. He straight up says that he always wanted to be a famous YouTuber, that was the only thing he saw himself doing.
I just want to make YouTube videos. That's all I ever want to do. That's all I ever wanted to do.
But when you actually listen to him talk about YouTube, it becomes so clear how much respect and love he has for both the content and platform, not to mention how much he busted his ass for years. Seriously, compare how Mr. Beast talks about YouTube.
This is what I'm doing to the day I die. I don't care.
Yeah, but Mr. Beast wasn't doing an edgy rebrand and also aging out of his adolescence at the same time, so... And he never dropped a track, so fucking he had nothing to rap about, obviously. That's why he had to make money moves. Still kind of deciding which side of the fence I'm on, but so far, if she's doing the edgy rebrand and people are gonna talk shit about her anyway, I mean, I don't really see what's that wrong with her being like, I don't care.
I gotta like bust a nut to get this music done, right?
Okay, that is unnecessary. Don't do that.
Also, no changing my mind that now this song comes first. Because if I want my moment, this is my 180. This is my moment.
Hell, she can't even decide if she's a singer or not.
Like I said, I will never ever claim to be
That's
a singer.
not up to her. She is. Does she not?
All right, here's the thing. I'm
Never
not
mind.
just a dancer.
Maybe I don't know.
Also no one has made this dramatic of a change yet. No one has made, in my generation, this extreme of a switch. And
I am the first in the generation.
I mean, I recognize that she sounds crazy and delusional, and she is. I don't know what she feels. I mean, she just sounds like she's the first one to do it. Whatever it is.
It's very scary, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, she's the first to rebrand.
Someone's got to do it.
Adults.
Why not me?
Include Miley Cyrus, Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, Haley Kiyoko, the Sprouse Twins, Liz Gillies, the Jonas Brothers,
That's a lot of other people who did it.
Rush, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Debbie Ryan, Zendaya, Harry Styles, Jeanette McCurdy, or Zac Efron. I mean, Jeanette McCurdy publicly declared that she was glad her mom died, and Miley Cyrus went from Hannah Montana to riding a wrecking ball naked. Meanwhile, JoJo's Rebrand is...
Yeah, I even said Miley Cyrus at the beginning of the video, which I don't know if that was an accurate comparison, but I mean, it's close enough.
Quite literally nothing. Nothing is actually different about her. She just wears black outfits that are more revealing while constantly saying words like rebrand or era. I mean, JoJo has repeatedly talked about how while recording the song, she was afraid to say the B word.
Originally, I was scared of the lyrics. I was 18 years old. I didn't want to say bitch.
Which again, that line is just incredible.
And the fact that people are comparing it to Miley's Bangers moment, like, goal achieved.
Which, no.
He moves out.
You've got the tickets.
My old roommate Donovan would always listen to Miley Cyrus and Her Dead Pets, the album, and Why They Put the Dick into Pussy.
Smirk.
Stupidest shit I ever heard.
I can't hear you.
Does Jojo Siwa make songs like that? I don't know.
I sang Every Girl's a Super Girl last week. Like, I can't sing I Was a Bad Girl this week. It doesn't work. I was very afraid of the lyrics of Karma. I wasn't ready to say I was a bad girl. I wasn't ready to say I should have.
I'm not ready to hear that or say it myself or hear any more. I don't know if there's anything here that I care about
really
specifically.
That she continuously
this is a
feels the
really
need to
entertainingly edited video, though. Props to Jimmy.
Some other random artist out there, and I'm sure there is, was making exactly this song and didn't have the background and the public persona and the history that Jojo Siwa does, most likely the song would not be getting any traction or attention. I mean, the track is fine. It doesn't sound awful. It's passable, even, I would say. And I don't think there's anything wrong or nefarious about the way she's going about kind of relaunching her music career here. She just comes across as kind of sheltered and clueless a little bit. I mean, there is that clip of her saying she wants to make gay pop, as if that hasn't been a thing for
based Fantano, I agree.
Decades. But yeah, overall, it's just kind of basic.
Or if she was going to commit to being a rebel, then, I don't know, maybe get caught doing something wrong instead of saying that you're not a bad
What horrible advice! Do a crime! Come on!
Like, if people are gonna make fun of you, like, okay, you're still talking about me.
Be my guest.
I'm having fun. I'm not taking myself that seriously. I told you guys I'm not considering myself a singer. I'm a performer.
That part.
I'm an artist. It's making conversation.
And it's art. And people, it is doing exactly what I wanted it to. I wanted people's heads to turn. I wanted people to go, right. What?
Right.
I wanted the people to do the Tim Allen.
What I didn't expect is for people to know every lyric that's been released. Like,
why does the wall say that? Yeah, I'm over this. But this was a good video, though. I'll link the full thing down below. Freaking shout out to Jimmy Robbins, dude. Shout out to freaking God, because he's the #1 homie. Bless. How do you guys feel about Jojo Siwa? Are you familiar with her work? Freaking, you have a strong opinion? Let me know. I'm interested. And I'm 45. Just keep that in mind. So put it into slow words. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys for watching this reaction video. Peace.